Coming up, an eventful day at the Magic Mile.
Congratulations to Joey Logano, the youngest winner in Cup history.
And the big one at Loudon? Yep, that's right.
No trouble! Oh, that's going to touch tracks. What a mess.
Got any plans for the 4th of July? We do. We'll get you ready for NASCAR's Independence Day tradition. This race has seen its share of first-time winners, including our man, Greg Biffle.
Greg Biffle, looking for his first ever win, wins the Pepsi 400, a tremendous upset.
This week in NASCAR, Fireworks Edition next on Speed. This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico. Hi, everybody. Glad you're with us here in the Charlotte, North Carolina studios of Speed Time 4 This Week in NASCAR. And joining us here on this Monday night, Michael Waltrip and Greg. Greg, haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here.
I'm glad to be back. I've been missing it.
We've been missing you. Michael, let's talk about some New Hampshire Motor Speedway from yesterday. Great day for David Rudiman. He finishes 4th. You and Marcus Ambrose finished 23rd and 24th, respectively.
Yeah, we all three had chances for good days, and David took advantage of the circumstances. He was able to pit late and get enough fuel in order to finish in the 4th spot. Early in the going, he had a really good car, but when they had the big one on the front straightaway, he got involved in it. I got spun out early in the race and got some damage to my car. And it's weird with these new cars. You ding them up a little bit, they don't handle like they used to.
Yeah.
They change quite dramatically. Scott Speed gets into the left rear of the Napa car there, but that wasn't Scott's fault. Elliott Sadler had run into Scott Speed, and then Scott ran into me, and it caused us to get some damage. But Steve, just to sort of paraphrase, you mess a car up a little bit, they don't drive right anymore, and we lived that yesterday.
Yeah.
Was that a paraphrase, or was that a little bit more than a paraphrase?
It was not an anomaly. No. You did a good job. Greg, you guys finished 18th in the 16 car, and kind of an up and down day for you.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, we had a pretty good day going, up and down. We had a pretty good day going, and coming off a turn, we made a pit stop. I tightened it up a little bit. Coming off a turn 2, I got in the fence, and Kurt was running me up the racetrack. It was a little tight. He left me room, but my car snapped loose right at the last minute, and I smacked the wall with the right side. Thank goodness it didn't, hit any of the tires. But like Michael said,
it's weird, isn't it?
They are kind of temperamental. These things are way tougher than the old car, but our car handled a little bit different, and we just never came back from that track position right there. You saw we were the only ones on pit road. We could never make it back after that track position give up. Actually, we did. We got back to 12th, and then because of the rain cycle, we ended up 18th. So we were shooting for, we were going to be about 10th place.
I look back to 2008 when Kyle Busch won Darlington with the whole right side of his car tore off of it.
What about Kurt this year at Atlanta?
And
he's just running on the wall.
Grinding the wall. But then you go to a place like Loudon, it seems like if you're able to run really up next to the wall, you're not affected as much by the fact that your right side is different. But sometimes when you run down in the lower part, even at a slow speed or lower speed track like Loudon, it just affects it more. The cars are we're all learning every day about what these cars need and what they want, and it appears you better be careful how you ding them up.
Yeah.
I think it was Jeff Burton at Richmond hit the wall, and he said it actually ran better after he hit it.
Yeah, and Marcus.
Sometimes that'll happen.
Marcus did the same thing at Pocono. You remember he finished 6th at Pocono? His car wasn't driving well. He ran into the wall. He said, darn, started driving better. So if it's good and you hit the wall, it might be worse, but
that's right.
Vice versa.
It's been a crazy year, and yesterday's finish was a little surprising. I think Joey Logano, the 19-year-old, goes to victory lane for the first time in the 20 car, just his 20th career start. Great strategy by that team. They overcame some adversity, and you know what, Greg? A win's a win. I don't care how you get it.
That's right. I mean, they put your name on the check, the trophy, and I mean, it's so cool to see a guy for the first time his first win, no matter how you get it. Your first win is a memorable one, and those guys, played the strategy right. He didn't have that good of a car, but they worked on it. He stayed out when he needed to stay out. He got track position, and I like the way this ended. The guy that was leading when the caution came out for the rain is the guy that won the race, and those guys did a good job. They almost ran out of gas.
Don't you love it though that race car drivers, I'm glad Joey won.
Yeah.
We know how hard it is to win one of these darn races. The media, the fans, if they're going to criticize Joey Logano for winning this race, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
We raced hard against Joey, and we're proud Joey won.
Yeah. We would have rather won, but we're happy for him.
No doubt. And then for the Napa car, I outran Joey all day long. So I'm thinking,
I could have won.
I could have won that darn race, and Greg thinks the same thing. But it's really cool to see a kid get a win, his first win, like Greg said. And Joey's a good dude, man. He's fun to watch, fun to listen to, and his passion and his enthusiasm is infectious. And I'm just really proud of him and his team.
That's a good word.
Thank you. I've been using big words on this show. I don't work them in
infectious
quite correctly all the time, but I did it really well then. Thank you.
But you get them in, though, so it doesn't matter. Well, right after this, the big one at Loudon, we had it yesterday. We'll show it to you, and you'll hear what Greg and Michael think. Now, Ryan Newman came up about 3 laps short from getting the win. You'll hear all the rain conversations in Radioactive. And later, do you recognize any of these guys? They all got their first win at the Daytona July event. We'll be right back.
This Week in NASCAR is presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Take a look at the point standings, boys. Just 9 races left to cement a spot in the chase.
This is a very, very tedious spot to find yourself in. Look at Denny Hamlin. He's only 83 points to the good. And look at what's happening down there at 12th spot. You've got Casey Kane and David Rudiman within 12 points of making their way into the chase. These guys, I don't care whether you're 4th or you're 14th, you still think you can get in the chase, and you also think you could miss it.
Yeah, I'm nervous as can be. I've watched my point lead kind of dwindle there. I'm down to close territory. I'm not that far in.
No, and you gotta know that you gotta run well every week, or you're not gonna make it. And that's what's so fun about the chase. Right now, there's a lot of stuff going on in people's brains, thinking, "How do I race? I need to win this race, darn it! Yeah. Oh, darn, I need those points." What about Juan Montoya out in California? It almost looked like he was points racing, which is crazy because last year he won that race.
Did you say tedious?
I did, and
you meant tenuous.
I did.
You did, but good. That's a good effort.
I don't use those big words because I'm going to use it in the wrong spot. So I'm just going to stick.
He's trying so hard.
I sound like Mike Tyson. You ever hear him try to use those big words? He could never work them in there right either.
Well, you're trying, though.
Yeah.
I appreciate your effort.
Why is tedious not? Isn't tedious means you're like...
Tedious is boring. Tenuous means you're...
Tedious is boring?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm tenuous about that.
You're apprehensive about it. See, you're nervous about the points.
Stop it, Steve.
Let's go to the highlights from yesterday's 301-lap scheduled event. Of course, it was short. Lap 20, Kevin Harvick gets into Jamie McMurray. McMurray backs it hard into the wall.
I watched all these highlights on NASCAR.com. It looked like Kevin and Jamie just, maybe Jamie was trying to hug the bottom a little bit, and Kevin just ran into the left rear of him and made him hit the wall.
Kurt Busch had a good race car in the 2. He takes the lead away from Jeff Gordon. Did it seem to you guys, watching it, it seemed like it was a very physical race for New Hampshire. Was it more so, Greg, or was that just my imagination or the double file restarts? What do you think?
Well, I think a little bit of everything. Double file restarts maybe played a little role, as we see later, played a bigger role than what you think. But the thing about Loudon is it's so flat, and you don't really use the apron, but the banking changes down there. And what'll happen is you'll get down in the corner, and that car sort of slides up, and if the guy on the top doesn't necessarily slide up, you may get into him a little bit, and it's normally incidental contact. It's normally not very hard, and guys will be rubbing fenders a little bit. That's normally Loudon racing, but some guys got turned around, and that'll happen. That place is tough.
Very deceptive. Pit stop time, and this is going to be the Geico greatest pit crew, and it's the 24 bunch as they keep Jeff Gordon out front, and they do it on pit row. On the restart, Jimmy Johnson takes the lead. The 48 cruises out to a 2-second lead. Michael, he led from lap 50 all the way to lap 122.
Man, it was pretty cool, though, to see the 48 and the 24. You know, teammates, guys just stretching it out on folks. Unfortunately for me, I'd gotten in that crash early in the race, and my car wasn't right. And I look in the mirror, and I see the 48, and right behind him is 24. And I think with the new car, a lot of times you'll have that. When you see organizations or teams get their car right, it'll spread throughout the whole organization. Yesterday, think about Kurt Busch and Sam Hornish being up front, Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. You'll see that a lot, and it's got to feel pretty good as an owner to stand in the pit and watch your cars drive out on everybody.
Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a better day. In fact, Ed Hendrick.
He was hauling.
Yes,
he ran good.
All right, restart on lap 174. Speaking of Dale Earnhardt Jr., he spins his tires, and boys, it stacks up behind him. Kyle Busch goes Chick Hicks on Martin Truex Jr., but after the race, Kyle apologized. But
yeah, and I mean, you can see Martin Truex right here.
The only one that didn't really do anything wrong.
Yeah, kind of gave a courtesy to Junior on that start. You know, he realized he spun his tires and backed off. And
you know, if you think about it, Martin didn't do anything wrong, and he's the one that took the worst of it. He saw Junior spin his tires, but in Kyle's defense, you can't see through these cars. You can't see what's going on ahead. And not to be talking about the new car as opposed to the old one, you couldn't see through it either. I mean, watch this. Watch what David Reagan finds up there. He had no idea that was going to happen.
Yeah. But it's a little tough at Loudon going 3 wide into turn 1 also. So, I mean, you know, you got to somewhat be...
But we do it a lot.
Loudon?
You see it a lot.
Yeah.
People will try to do it if they get the chance.
Yeah.
And Martin not happy with he was. And again, as I said, after the race, Kyle Busch apologized. He said, I know there are guys that had chase implications there, but you know what? And I've heard you guys say this, sometimes sorry doesn't change anything.
Sorry doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But in Kyle's defense, again, he didn't know what all was going on. So he was just trying to hunt a hole. But maybe shouldn't have stuck his nose where he stuck it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really room, and the thing that I look at is what are you going to do after you're there?
Yeah, what do you do? What's it get you?
Okay, now I'm here, now what's going to happen?
Right.
And certainly he may have been protecting a spot from behind him or whatever he was doing. So
that's a good point, Greg. What are you going to do?
You know, you got to think, what's going to happen.
That's why Greg's here.
I like Greg being here.
We've missed him.
It took him a little while to get here today, but...
I still have your sunglasses, by the way, from 3 weeks ago. I've been carrying around. All right, coming up next, Joey Logano does a spin but gets the win. We'll have the rest of the Loudon highlights, plus 2 Sprint Cup teammates have an altercation in the Nationwide Series race. We'll show you who it was. Coming up, Twin will be right back.
The Greatest Pit Crew has been presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico. Hey, would you like a picture from Joey Logano's first ever Sprint Cup Series win? To enter the Picture of the Week giveaway, go to speedtv.com, click the show's tab at the top, go to the This Week in NASCAR page, and you'll see a link at the bottom to email us. Put Logano in the subject line, and you'll be entered to win. Be sure to put your shipping address in the email. The winner will be revealed next week. The Casey Kane picture went to Louisiana. Time now to look a little further into the action from yesterday's race at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. On the Magic Mile, lap 182, Joey Logano, the aforementioned, cuts a left tire and spins.
This is pretty smart. I'm thinking maybe he didn't really have to spin, but he needed a caution, so he spun, and he got it.
Did the caution come out?
I think it did.
Okay.
And then you know what that meant him in a position to get was a lucky dog in a little bit. He doesn't get it on this caution, obviously, but eventually he will get it. Watch this.
Ooh, Kurt got a little bit loose. Like I said, getting down in the corner side by side.
That happens a lot at Loudon.
At Loudon, because it's so flat.
So tight.
Scott Speed hits the wall, bringing out one of 11 caution flags.
Lots of cautions, and we didn't even run the whole race. Could have had a chance for a few more.
Yeah. I'm guaranteed there would have been a few more at Loudon.
All right, Tony Stewart now is going to pass Jeff Gordon for the lead.
Jeff said his car wasn't fast on the green flag when they first saw the green. It'd take him a few laps to get going. And that's sort of common at Loudon, isn't it, Greg? Your car might take 3 or 4 laps to get going, then when it does, it's better than the guy that could go right off the bat.
Yeah.
All the leaders pit. You saw Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, and then Kurt Busch. Tony Stewart, though, has a slow stop, and it cost him 5 spots. And, Greg, that's happened to all drivers, but that is so frustrating at a place like New Hampshire.
Yeah, I just saw that guy down there trying to get that last lug nut on, and that just, you're sitting inside the car just, ready to go, and he's doing his best, to get all those lug nuts on there to get it safe, but that happens, And
there are places where 5 spots are worse than others. That's a bad place for that to happen.
Yeah.
And Greg, I know you don't really want to hear this, but you know what your average finish at Loudon is for your whole career?
No.
18th.
18th? Well, I finished 18th.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good.
Where did you dig that up?
I don't know. There's just some of the things well, actually, there's a graphic on the bottom of the screen.
You cheated.
You know what your average finish is there?
I think it's about that.
Oh, good, because I don't know.
I'm going to bet I bet it's about that.
All right. Ryan Newman now at the front of the field because he had not pitted. 39 trying to stretch the fuel until the rain came.
Yeah, I was running second right now. I didn't really know, I just was trying to get the best finish I could get. And I didn't really know why I was stretching my fuel. And then I came down the front straightaway and saw Ryan sitting still on pit road, and I thought, I hope I have to pit soon. I hope I get to pit soon because I'm going to need some gas. But some of the guys, obviously Joey Logano, David Rudiman, they made it all the way to the checkered flag, and that's what got Joey the win.
Yeah, trouble for the 39. They can't get Ryan Newman restarted, and Newman finished 29th. That gave Joey Logano the lead.
Yeah, that's tough when you're sitting there on pit road and that thing won't start.
As a driver, you think, what could I have done? How could I have got it? How could I get it?
I was thinking that at Michigan.
How do you get it started? What's the best way to start it?
I saw you doing the math. Do you want to take another shot at Michael's average finish?
Yeah, I'm going to say like 22.5 or something like that.
Thinking 18.
22.5. Biffle breaks out the decimal point.
Somewhere in there. I'm just guessing.
I'm thinking low. I'm thinking mid-teens.
All right, the Castrol's smart move of the race goes to the 20 team. The rain comes 2 laps after Ryan Newman runs out of gas. Caution comes out. Joey saved fuel under caution. That's going to bring out the red flag. The rain does. 10 minutes later, the race is called. We should point out here, David Rudiman, at Charlotte, they have lights there, so it went on for a long. No lights at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
People said, why did they do it so quickly with Joey? What?
It wasn't going to stop raining. I mean, it was clear that it wasn't going to stop.
Like Greg said a minute ago, what's it going to get you? Yeah. What are we going to do? What are we going to wait for?
Yeah.
Eventually, it's going to get dark, and just hats off to Joey and that team to get a win. We'll all be. He'll remember. He'll get more, and he won't worry about how this first one happened. I hope he's happy.
Yeah.
He should be, right?
Oh yeah. Got to be happy.
Like Greg said, they put your name on the check.
He's got that giant saw blade. I mean, how else? He wouldn't be any happier.
Saw.
That's it. When we come back, Jeff Gordon was sure Joey Logano would run out of gas under caution. You'll hear all the best scanner audio next in Radioactive. And Ron Hornaday pulls off a great pass for the lead in the truck race. Truck and Nationwide highlights coming up.
The smart move of the race has been presented by Castrol Edge. Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to new Castrol Edge Advanced Synthetic. Nothing offers better wear and protection.
One of the great things about the Radioactive feature is you hear the emotion from the drivers. Last week, Robbie Gordon was so upset at Sonoma, he told his crew chief, "Don't talk to me anymore." Well, we also hear elation, and we also hear strategy. Let's listen into Radioactive from yesterday at New Hampshire.
You got me okay? Got a copy. 10-4.
This is one of those kind of murky days. We're not going to have a whole lot of sunshine, but I think we're going to get this race in. Rain could be a factor. Is anybody going to play the weather game?
Everybody's ready to race, man. I've never seen guys warm their tires up so much in my life. Everybody's expecting a little bit of rain. People are going to try to stay up front as much as possible here. Start up front, stay up front all day, try to do everything we do to keep that track position. Win this thing. It's going to be a little rain coming probably at some point. We're going to wait it out and hopefully be up front when it happens.
Ready to drop the green flag on the Lennox 301.
out of the groove, he better make sure he does it all the way, because he's not going to make the next corner. All right, was that real loose there, bud, or did it come around like everything was okay, pretty normal? It's loose, but it seems pretty normal. It was a little loose. The racetrack's a little damp here. I mean, we got that light mist, so just hang in there. They looked at the tires, everything was good.
Trouble in turn 2. Joey Logano with a flat left rear tire brings out the caution flag yet again here at New Hampshire.
He just freaking, like, he sent it 3 wide and, like, 4 wide. Like, what the hell?
Trouble entering turn 1. Martin Truex's son collects several cars. We've got 5 or 6 cars coming together.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Kyle Busch is going to get his ass kicked. I've had enough of his wrecking everybody like an idiot. He's done. Martin just about threw his helmet at Kyle Busch. I'm assuming all that was because I didn't get a restart. I don't think that had anything to do with you. They were just racing hard because everybody knows the rain's coming.
Joey Logano got the free pass under this caution.
It's go time for all these drivers.
You got rain coming on the way too, so just keep gigging for everything you got.
Ryan Newman now is being shown as the race leader.
About 14 laps till we pit. The rain's real close. Then before we miss safe fuel, I don't know how to run like hell, old man. Amount of fuel coming in, amount of fuel.
And the mist and the rain getting heavier here right now. Logano still on point. Joey Logano.
Save fuel for me. You got to save fuel. We're good for about 3 to 5 laps there. Keep your fingers crossed. Say a prayer.
NASCAR has declared the race official. Congratulations to Joey Logano, winner of the Lennox Industrial Tools 301.
Well, that's pretty cool to listen to all that action going on. Michael and I are sitting here talking about why didn't anybody tell us exactly when it's going to rain? That's the million-dollar question. You know, everybody knew there was weather in the area, but none of it was showing on the radar. They got the light mist and, you know, a lot of tempers, you know, flaring with
Jeff Gordon wanting to throw down.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon said that the Busch better run him up out of the groove. But, yeah, it's, you know, Kurt and the 24 were racing pretty hard together, so.
And then eventually the 48 got some of the Kurt action, ran him up the hill.
Yeah.
Late in the going.
Yeah.
But you're
Don't
right,
get on
Greg.
the outside if I'm loose.
Right. It's hard to hold your line on the bottom. We saw a lot of that yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Kyle Busch, he picked up his 26th career NASCAR Nationwide Series win in the Nationwide Series on Saturday. Even more amazing stat, 23rd different winner in 23 nationwide races at that racetrack.
Now you got Kyle Busch looking inside. Joey Logano.
Pass for the lead. Could Kyle take it again? We've got 36 laps to go. He's got the preferred low line, and
Joey Logano's not going to give it up too easy here.
but Kyle does finally clear him coming out of 4. So as he comes out of turn number 4, good job to the crew and a good job for the driver. Oh, spins. And Vickers hits the wall, contact with the 99 of Scott Speed, and it's going to hurt Vickers more than it will Speed. And here we go. Vickers is not too happy with Scott Speed. Now, these are Sprint Cup teammates.
Calm down. NASCAR's talking here.
You can't tell it right now.
No. And I'm not sure this is over yet.
I don't think so.
No, he wants a little more of them.
Yeah, maybe a little
and then he
more.
brake checked him, so that's going to be good. For Kyle, his 5th win here in 2009, the 26th in his Nationwide Series career.
You know, the race yesterday or Saturday was very entertaining. You saw guys at the front and then slowly, just methodically, Kyle Busch working his way through the field. Scott Speed started 4th, ran the top 3 or 4 all day long. And then my man Biffle here, I was on the pit box on the Red Bull pit box watching my guys all day long. He was not
stealth yesterday.
He was not running well at all. But then at the end, there he was, right in the middle of the top 10. So you can do it a couple of different ways, and Greg did it the stealth.
I was trying to avoid the big one.
You didn't want to be controversial, did you?
Not at all. I just ran a nice, easy race.
What's his average finish in the Nationwide?
Stayed out of everybody's way.
Shoot, I don't know. He's probably down there around 12.2.
12.2.
3, maybe.
Well, the only thing hotter in Memphis, Tennessee, it was approaching 100 degrees for the Camping World Truck Series teams, was Ron Hornaday. He goes back-to-back for another win.
Here comes Ron Hornaday to the inside of that 16 of Brian Scott. That's a battle for your lead.
I really had a feeling that Ron Hornaday was just taking it easy, just watching Brian Scott, just keeping an eye on him. Now they're going to try to split Brett Sherman here. Ron's going to get him on the inside, Brian on the outside.
Hornaday will come to the start-finish line and win his second Elvis Trophy in Memphis.
Steve, 175 of 201 laps. I mean,
It's quite a bit.
he was on it, and he's been on it. It looked the same. They look like a replay from Milwaukee. We're going to go to Kentucky in a couple weeks now. On the bigger tracks, he hasn't been quite so dominant, so we'll see what happens up there.
I believe that was the 42nd career win for Hornaday.
Yeah, he's winning a lot of races in that series. And one thing that's kind of unusual is he's either really, really good or he's really, really bad. You see him struggling running 15th or 18th and can't get a handle on the truck.
And I don't really appreciate you saying, I believe that's the 42nd, because you have it written down.
No, I didn't know. I was looking for it. I thought I did. I believe it is 42nd.
You believe it is?
I'll confirm it shortly. All right, a lot of crazy stuff happening on track and off track. Let's go in focus in New Hampshire.
There are 10 races till the chase.
Green flag about to go in the air as we get underway.
Don't mess with me, sucker. You know trouble. We got look, Oreos.
Can I share my Oreos? Don't even use a bag.
Here, you need the toothbrush.
Hornaday will win his second Elvis Trophy.
Not letting Steve teach me anything.
Congratulations to Joey Logano.
I can confirm, Michael, 42 wins for Hornaday.
Over.
Copy. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, Saturday, don't forget, Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, here on Speed before Saturday night's race. When we come back, we'll review Matt Kenseth's big win in the season-opening Daytona 500. And bump drafting is always an issue in Daytona. We'll hear what the guys have to say about it. Stay with us. You're watching Twin. This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico. Want to show you the schedule for this weekend, and pay attention because the on-track activity begins on Thursday. You'll see the Camping World Touring Series race at 3, Sprint Cup practice, and then final practice. Then Friday, qualifying at 4 Eastern, followed by trackside at 7 Eastern. Well, Greg Biffle and Michael Waltrip, both winners at the Daytona International Speedway. Let's hear from some of the other competitors about racing on that super speedway.
My favorite racetrack would have, I think, absolutely, without a doubt, have to be Daytona, just because a couple hours down the road is where I grew up, and been coming over here, many years. Would sit in the stands and watch those races, and was racing local racetracks around here, and always dreaming of having an opportunity to race over here. So then when I finally did get a chance to, it was, so it's always been my favorite racetrack.
Really has a special feel to it, a lot of prestige. We've got to really focus on handling at Daytona. It's going to be a handling race. Handling car is going to win the race.
The cool part about Daytona is that handling's still going to matter. The cars get to the point where they're not handling good, to where maybe you're lifting through the corners. The track's weathered really good. It's got a lot of bumps and a lot of character to it, so it helps change it up a little bit.
Just the prestige of having success at Daytona and what it means to, when I was a kid growing up, Daytona was the only track I really knew. It was the most important track. It defined NASCAR, and to go down there and win, there's just nowhere on the schedule, I think, that is any more prestigious to win at. And fortunately for me and Greg both, we've been able to do that down there, and it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Greg, you got your first win in the July race at Daytona, and I guess, do drivers distinguish the 500 from the July race?
Yeah, they do, because when you get the check at the no, it's winning at Daytona is like Michael said, especially for my first win. Joey Logano's first win came at Loudon last week, and then David Rudiman at Charlotte, but mine came at Daytona in July, and it was it's a big deal, no matter whether it's the Daytona 500 or the Coke Zero 400 in July. It's still a big deal to win at Daytona, and that trophy is one of my front and center trophies.
Well, Greg's teammate Matt Kenseth went to victory lane at the season-opening Daytona 500. Let's take a look back.
Whenever you get to Sunday morning and the countdown is on to the Daytona 500, there are always some butterflies.
This truly is our Super Bowl as we start off a brand new season here in 2009.
Green, green, green. Yeah, it's definitely tight on the bottom. We'll get you fixed up as the day progresses. know why it's so far off.
We're handling. I'm telling you, we are handling.
Denny Hamlin's suddenly become a strong player up in that front 5 or 6 cars.
Kyle Busch, though, on the outside, inches up and inches out in front to lead. The question is, how long will he stay there?
This is fun. This is awesome. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm sick of looking at Sam's spot, though.
I don't think that AT's driving great, but he's out front the whole time.
Jeff Gordon is just giving Kyle Busch the shove.
Toying with my emotions.
I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Here comes Jeff Gordon climbing to the penthouse, wheel to wheel for the lead.
Out front here, this front's going to be a whole lot better. Lead air is our friend.
How about Tony Stewart? He wants to lead in this 500.
Ole, 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 ole.
Feels like the right rear tire is gone.
Pit road's going to get to be a real busy place.
2, 1, right here. Whoa. The tire setting 1 inch onto the white line.
Yeah, he was hollering about it. We should have stopped.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. sits hopelessly right now on the pit lane.
Go, 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 go. Guys, if you want to win races, you got to get it done.
The laps are winding down at Daytona, and a lot of daring moves being made.
Keep rolling. Watch it.
Brian Vickers is collecting the front lip of the field.
That wreck has sent 3 contenders that would have had a shot to win here to the garage area.
Sorry I didn't like this, guys. I don't know who screwed up back there.
It's the 88.
Man, he about wrecked all of us.
Elliott Sadler on the gas trying to get away.
They are getting wild now as the laps come down.
It's just my luck showing rain on the radar and not on the racetrack. Looking low, looking low, looking low. He's got all the help there.
Down to the inside, we're going to have a new leader. It's Matt Kenseth with drafting help from Kevin Harvick. He'll go to the point.
Green him on there. Green, 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 green.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. Yellow is out.
The race has officially been declared final. It is over.
Matt Kenseth is the 2009 Daytona 500 champion.
Well, I could see a lot of drama unfolded there with everybody thinking the rain's going to come. Michael had a good run right at the end of that thing, and you can go from first to nearly last in one lap, or vice versa at the end of those events. And you know, I'm happy for Matt that he won that race, but the rain came, and Elliott Sadler was just so close, and you know, you never know with the weather in Daytona in July. It could be come down to the same thing again.
Michael, one of the elements, and you've been so good at Daytona, getting your first win there in 2001, one of the elements we hear a lot about is bump drafting. And it seems like we're on that fine line between slam drafting and bump drafting.
Well, just think about what happened at Talladega with Brad Keselowski and the finish of that race. Bump drafting is key to success, but it's very, very difficult to do it properly at Daytona. Now, do you remember the Penske cars driving Ryan Newman to the checkered flag in 2008 for the victory? That's how they did it with bump drafting. So while it's very important and it's almost necessary to ensure success, you really got to be careful when you do it. And so late in the race, all up on the chip, wanting to go, and you want to bump draft, that's what happen in a hurry.
That's what took you out at Talladega in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really, really difficult. You know, Daytona is way harder to bump draft than Talladega. Talladega is pretty smooth, a lot of grip. Daytona, the car's sliding around already by itself because the surface is kind of like Darlington. You know, the car slides around a whole bunch. And when you're trying to push a guy, it's very, very difficult at Daytona to be successful pushing. And especially when you get 2 or 3 guys bumper to bumper, for sure, you know, somebody's going to get squeezed out of there.
It's going to be even slicker this weekend.
Yes.
Because of the heat. Well, up next, a look at the first-time winners at Daytona during the July event, and that includes our man Greg Biffle. And your car has to handle. We heard Brian Vickers say that to run up front at Daytona. More analysis from Greg and Michael coming up here on Twin. Let's take a look at the weather, and all we can tell you about the weather this time of year in Daytona is that it is unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's pretty predictable that it's going to be right around 89 degrees.
Yep.
Well, it's predictable in that we know thunder showers roll up late in the day.
40% chance.
They all roll up in there?
They roll on up. You're funny. Hey, this Saturday will mark the 50th anniversary of Fireball Roberts' first win at what was then called the Firecracker 250 at Daytona. Let's take a look at some other first-time winners.
The white flag is out. 1 lap to go. The leader is still Bobby Isaac. Well, if Foyt's going to make a move, it's going to have to be soon. Here's Foyt moving to the inside. He's even. He's ahead. Foyt is the leader. They're coming to the finish line. And the race is over, and Foyt is the winner.
McQuagg has dominated this race. And now McQuagg goes into traffic and off what should be his final turn of the track.
Sam McQuagg really moving into the big time with his first really important NASCAR victory.
We have had a report of a vibration in Bill Elliott's number 9 Ford. He pulls into the pits. What crazy thoughts must be flashing through the mind of Greg Sachs, who is leading for the first time in his career this late in the race. Greg Sachs is the winner of the Firecracker 400.
Greg Sachs run a heck of a good race. You know, he deserved winning it.
We're just looking to watch him out, not show him what we had. I'm sure he wasn't showing us all he had. So we're looking to make it a run down to the wire.
Side by side, here they come for the checkered flag. Who's it going to be? Will it be Ernie Irvan on top or Jimmy Spencer on the low side? Here they come. It's going to be a drag race to the checkered flag. Jimmy Spencer wins it.
I never gave up driving. Ernie Irvan drove a hell of a race.
All this helps John Andretti. Oh, and there's a crash. Here we come off the line. It's going to be John Andretti. Bobby Labonte is dropping back, and he is off the pace. Greg Biffle is pulling away.
What an upset this is going to be.
Greg Biffle wins the Pepsi 400.
It's unbelievable to be in victory lane at Daytona. If you'd have asked me where I'd win a Winston Cup race, I would never say Daytona.
Well, I'll never forget that. I remember Joel was spotting for me, and he's like, the 18 car, Bobby Labonte, he's 4 cars back, 6 cars back, he's 8 cars back, and we were kind of strung out there at the end, and then he's like, Bobby Labonte's out of gas, he's out of gas. So he was really the guy I was worried about that was going to put pressure on me there at the end. And I remember racing with Michael and Dale Jr. Michael was pushing me, and I was just trying to keep it straight. Man, my car was loose that day, but just hung on, and my first win back, just as like it was yesterday.
Greg talks about car being loose. I want to revisit the concept of handling, because been hearing that at Daytona forever. We look at Talladega by comparison, 2.66 miles, and we hear about you guys say, hey, just hold it down and turn left because it's so smooth. Not at Daytona.
Well, at Talladega, you just look in your mirror and hope you can get a push through the corner even. You know, you want to be bump drafted everywhere. But at Daytona, you hope that you're going to get a bump draft, but then you also hope they'll let go of you when you get through the corner, because it's so difficult to drive these big old cars. Look how narrow that place is. We're running close to 200 miles an hour, trying to go 3 wide. There's not a lot of grip, and it's narrow. And then multiply in some guy pushing on your back bumper. It's very, very difficult, and it really, really takes a car that will handle through the turns to have success here. It doesn't matter 100% of the time how fast it is. You just want it to get through the corners good.
Yeah, that's one place, restrictor plate racing, that, people think we stay on the floor all the time. Like Talladega, we never lift. Talladega, we hold it on the floor for hours at a time. Daytona, you actually have to lift on the throttle in the corner some and go back to the gas with the restrictor plate car. That's what makes a big difference.
And just think double file restarts. It's going to be crazy. Late in the race, if that happens with the cars all bunch, we get too wide in a hurry, but generally we string out. When you have a restart, we're already going to be that way. What's going to happen? It's going to be fun to see.
No, it's not going to be crazy. You guys are crazy. That's the crazy part.
We say people are crazy, and then all of a sudden we look around.
We're part of those people.
And we're crazy.
You are.
Yeah. God is great. Beer is good. And people are crazy.
I like that. Hey, race fans, make sure your heart is on track. Visit CheeriosRacing.com and you'll get great heart-healthy tips and $4 in coupons from Cheerios. You'll also be entered for a chance to be one of 3,300 lucky fans to get their name on the number 33 Cheerios race car on July 11th. When we return on This Week in NASCAR, we have a question about pit signs. We'll dive into the twin inbox after this. We'll be right back.
This Week in NASCAR on Speed. It might be sponsored by Geico, but you should watch it anyways.
Michael's so bitter. Be sure to tune in Thursday night to find out who will be the 25 people vying for induction into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2010. It's the NASCAR Hall of Fame, the first class, hosted by Ken Squire, Thursday at 8 Eastern on Speed. You don't want to miss the official announcement of those 25 candidates. The 5 people making up the inaugural class will come from this list. That's Thursday at 8, right here on Speed. I'm thinking Bill France Sr.,
Bill France Sr., Bill France Jr., Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, for sure, are 4 of the first 5 in the class. You're going to look at Curtis Turner,
David Pearson,
Bobby Allison, Fireball Roberts. There's going to be tons of guys that'll be on that list, but I bet you those 4, Senior and Junior, Dale and Richard, will be 4 of the 5. Who's the 5th, though?
Cale, David?
Nah, maybe. Let's think about Paul Sawyer or Clay Earls, some of the guys that helped to support this thing since the beginning of time with racetracks. Junior Johnson. The Wood brothers, which one of those? Leonard Wood, who knows?
My vote's Benny Parsons.
I like
not a bad selection.
He'll be on the list of 25, I bet you, 1975 champion.
Yep.
Copy
TV
that.
announcer.
Or was it 73 champion?
73
75 Daytona 500 winner. I'm sorry.
Time now for the Z-Max Fuel for Thought segment. What are the restrictions on the pit road signs? Michael, how big can they be, and can a team have flashing lights?
No, you can't have. They've had them before, and so that's why you can't have them anymore. NASCAR mandates the size of the signs, and you can see basically all those things are roughly the same size, and they can only hang out so far. You start dropping yours out a little bit further than it ought to be, they'll make you reel her back in. So there are rules that mandate how big your sign can be and how far you can hang it out.
A couple years ago, yours was like you with guns.
It still is. It's me with some guns and whatnot.
And the one pack.
The one pack.
Yeah, I've got that going on for me.
All right, our next question is for Greg Biffle. How are the tracks measured? Where are they, Greg? Is it the low groove, middle, or high? And how would a measurement be taken on a road course?
Well, I believe on the standard oval tracks, it's measured about 10 feet from the outside wall all the way around. So I always thought it was the inside of the track, and I've been informed that it's about 10 feet off the outside wall. And on the road courses, it's more of the groove or the center of the racetrack, which ends up being the groove anyway as it crosses from one side to the other. So road course is about the center of it, and oval track is about 10 feet off the wall.
Well, you know, we have a blast doing this show, but what about our boy Tanner Faust?
He gets to drive some nice cars.
Yeah, buddy. Supercars Exposed. Tanner goes to Germany. His mission, check out the Mercedes Performance Division, AMG. Tanner gets to drive an SL63 AMG through the countryside in the Autobahn. He also gets to test drive the most extreme AMG car to date, the SL65 Black Series. Supercars Exposed coming up next, right here on Speed. A reminder on the picture of the week, Joey Logano's first ever win. To enter the giveaway, go to speedtv.com, click the show's tab at the top, go to the This Week in NASCAR page. You'll see a link at the bottom of the page. Put Logano in the subject line, and you'll be entered to win. Put your shipping address in the email.
This Week in NASCAR is presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Brought to you in part by Cheerios, good for the heart, and by the auto parts experts at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Join us next Monday night for This Week in NASCAR, 8 Eastern here on Speed. Chad Canals is back with us. And
dang it.
I know, Greg. You know, the caveman thing, Michael is so bitter about that.
I know it.
That he won't let it go. One of his fans has actually, look at that.
I could do this. I could be that guy.
Mikey.
I just want a chance.
You are that guy.
Golly, I'm so disappointed that someone else beat me to it. That guy. How'd y'all get that guy? Who is he?
He's the caveman. He's the Geico caveman.
Yeah.
I stood up last week.
Registered trademark.
Did that. You know how we're not supposed to show, we have to wear socks on the show because people get mad?
Yeah.
I showed my underwear a little bit.
You did?
Yes, it did. I'm embarrassed.
Oh.
Well, best of luck to both of you guys.
Go ahead, Steve.
Daytona. Don't forget, Thursday here on Speed, catch all the Daytona action.
Ooh, I love Daytona.